Good afternoon and welcome to today's Pecha Kucha style session, where we will hear from inspiring youth leaders who are also members of the Solutions for Youth Employment Youth Advisory Group. The leaders we're in conversation with today are solution creators, directing their passion and energy towards addressing complex social challenges within their communities. They will share their journey of becoming social entrepreneurs, the problems they aim to solve, and we learn more about how they transform their communities across the globe through innovation. The session will also end with an exciting announcement for our listeners and the young people we work to empower, so stay tuned. I'm Urvashi Chopra, working for the Solutions for Youth Employment team at the World Bank, and I'll be your moderator for this incredible session today. At the outset, we believe that to address youth employment, young people must have a greater say in the policies directly affecting them. Youth have contextual, on-ground solutions to some of the most pressing global development challenges of our time. They're driven by passion, energy, and the urgent desire to create positive change. However, they also need support to unleash their full potential. With this in mind, the Solutions for Youth Employment team formed the Youth Advisory Group in 2018, which has grown to more than 100 enterprising global leaders today. These young leaders provide input on the design of solutions for youth employment and World Bank's youth employment programs through participation in board meetings, events, and World Bank publications. They bring youth innovation and perspective to the forefront of the S4YE coalition of partners. The Youth Advisory Group also provides an opportunity to youth to gain exposure and visibility within the international community. The Youth Advisory Group was initiated in 2018 with 17 leaders who contributed to decision-making at the S4YE Partner Summit and Regional Forum in 2019. They've continued to do so. Since then, they've contributed to World Bank blogs, such as their work highlighting youth-led innovations during COVID-19, on the food crisis, workforce training, healthcare, as well as harnessing social media. They have also contributed to several World Bank publications and been part of youth consultations, as well as participating in and organizing webinars between 2018 and 2022. The Youth Advisory Group has also been busy innovating across the globe. In 2022, we expanded to 44 members. They participated in partner events such as Nestle's Digital Hackathon and YEO's Social Entrepreneurship Spotlight. In 2023, where we stand today, our Youth Advisory Group has expanded to more than 120 youth leaders. This is a 7 times expansion from the initial Youth Advisory Group in 2018. These 120 youth leaders were nominated from across 66 countries by more than 50 S4YE partners. A special vote of thanks goes out to the S4YE selection panelists who helped us review the nominations that we received. Special thanks to Miranda Page, Director of Strategic Communications, Youth Business International, Maria Vasileva Blazev, Special Advisor, Office of the Secretary General's Envoy on Youth, the United Nations, and Ellie Mandela, the Youth Engagement Lead Pan-African Programs MasterCard Foundation. The current members of the YAG are leading ventures related to agriculture, disabilities, health, circular economy, water and sanitation, the orange economy, and EdTech. You name it, they've done it. They're paving the way for the future of work, and we're thrilled to have them on board. And finally, coming to the catalysts of today's session, it is my pleasure to introduce to you some of our Youth Advisory Group leaders whose work and voices ground us in innovation, context, and energy. These are young leaders who are striving to ameliorate the challenges faced by young people within their own communities. At S4YE, youth are not just beneficiaries. They're active solution makers and catalysts who are leading change. On that note, I am pleased to introduce to you Emerald, founder Afrotech XL from Nigeria, Sebastian, founder of BeFly from Colombia, Martha, founder of Biomech from Mozambique, Eslam, founder of EduPass from Syria, and Brian, founder of Akilikash from Kenya. I'm now going to hand over to Sebastian to elaborate more on his incredible circular economy innovation.
Hi, I am ready to present and grateful to be here. So You can say me where can I start. Okay. Hi everyone, I am Sebastian. I'm a root farmer and social entrepreneur from Colombia. My entrepreneurial journey started trying to resolve a big question. How can we feed a hungry planet with less resources? And in the way to respond this big question, we as a team of 5 rural youth looking to be part of the solution, we decided to take action by creating our project called BeFly, a social entrepreneurship where we aim to transform organic waste into food by using insects. And I am grateful to be here to discuss with you the global issue of food waste and its great impact on our environmental and society, and also to present how little insects are a great solution to this big issue. Food waste is a great problem taking into consideration that we live in a world where every day world population is growing and that we are demanding more food and resources. But sadly, 30% of the food worldwide is either lost or wasted. This equates to a massive 1.6 billion tons of food being discarded annually, and this represents environmental consequences. Food waste is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emission and the contamination of precious natural resources. Shockingly, only a small fraction of this waste gets composted. Most of it ends up in landfills, where it becomes a significant part of municipal solid waste. This in turn results in methane emission, a leading source of greenhouse gas emission within the waste sector. To be precise, food wastage is responsible for an extraordinary 3.3 billion tons of CO2, equivalent to greenhouse gases releases into the atmosphere every year. To illustrate this problem in a local scale, let's take, for example, my country, Colombia, where approximately 8 million tons organic waste are generated every year and sadly end up in landfills, generating environmental and public health issues. We, from BeFly, understand the urgency to address this problem that affects all of us. And our solution in BeFly is transform the organic waste into a sustainable source of food, and this based on the transformative power of insects, specifically the black butterfly. This remarkable insect can feed on large quantities of organic waste that we collect from cities or rural communities, and in just 2 weeks, we harvest and process them to obtain our main products, insect meal rich in protein. With this insect, we are proposing an innovative solution where we could transform organic waste into a high-quality source of protein to be used for animal feed and also potentially, why not, for human food. The value proposition is that with this insect, compared to traditional protein sources, we propose to produce more food with less resources, with less space, time, and water, and also less environmental impact. Can you imagine that in 1 square meter of rearing this insect, we can produce the same amount of protein as in 1,500 square meters of a soybean crop in 1 year? And what is even more remarkable, by using and processing organic waste that usually would otherwise end up in landfills, contributing to environmental and public health issues. And additionally, all waste generated during our process can be used as an input for crop fertilization. This is the power of circular economy. Currently, at BeFly, we are working closely with researchers to validate first insect rearing methodologies and second the nutritional value of the insect protein meal, exploring its potential inclusion in animal feed and in pet food. Simultaneously, we are aiming to translate our results to establish a small pilot plant in a rural community in our region, where through extensive interaction with farmers and community members, by interacting with almost 85 farmers, we have received a great positive feedback and a strong interest in being part of this project and to scale it up in this region. And our great vision is a substantial job creation through BeFly, with plans to transition from laboratory and pilot phases to the establishment of a large-scale organic waste processing plant in our community, where we are projecting that in the first year alone, we will process around 1.4 tons of organic waste per day, and by the second year, we aim to reach almost 3 tons of organic waste per day. This implies significant green job opportunities, especially for the youth in our community, because we firmly believe that the future of food system belongs to the youth. Consequently, we are committing to equipping the new generation with the necessary skills for solid waste management using insects. In fact, we offer virtual insect rearing training, preparing them for future roles in this field. We place a great importance on collaboration, and we recognize the power of working together, the private sector, the investors, academia, and also policymakers to effectively tackle the global issue of food waste. So we extend our invitation to everyone to join our cause and work together towards a more sustainable future. Our immediate need is advocacy for new policies and funding to advance research into the use of insects for both animal and human food. The benefits for the planet are undeniable. At the Fly, we are determined to transform a significant problem into an extraordinary opportunity. Our vision is a world where food waste is a relic of the past, and where sustainability and community thrive, and where more young people can be part of the future using insects. Together, we can make a difference. Join Fly on a journey towards a more sustainable future. Thank you for listening, and nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sebastian, for your incredible circular economy innovation and for also highlighting the efforts you're taking to skill youth with the right skills to occupy the green jobs that such innovations are going to pave the way for. I'm now handing over to Emerald, who is also working with underserved populations like Sebastian was. But in this case, she's working with young girls who are aspiring to be tech leaders. Over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, how you day? I greet you all in my local dialect of Pidgin. I am Emerald Akamere, and I stand here to share a story of transformation, empowerment, and innovation. I want you to understand where I come from, the journey I've taken, and why we must act together. I'm a 20-year-old Nigerian, a daughter of a small community that once believed that tech was a realm only for men. My journey began with a burning passion for technology, but it was a journey filled with beautiful struggles. I rose from the ashes of stereotypes to believe in the incredible potential of technology. I believe in using artificial intelligence and ML to maximize human potential and drive massive outputs in doing my bit into a realization of a world with endless possibilities. My journey ignited my mission to address the vast digital divide I realized at the young age of 15. Understanding that this challenge affects not only my community, but the global community at large and has a global significance. Navigating resources for digital skills can be overwhelming, leading to what I call the paradox of choice. So how does my journey transform the community I come from? It begins with empowering our youth, young, energetic minds filled with wonderful possibilities. We prepare the Gen AI workforce through Afrotech Excel by ensuring that they are ready for opportunities presented by AI. The work we do is all encompassing. We create jobs, and in doing so, we open doors to a brighter future for those in my community. Beyond that, empowerment comes from skill, knowledge, and mentorship. Now, this is how we create opportunities for the future. By leveraging on technology and innovation, the power of technology has been my beacon of hope. It is not just about embracing tech, but it's about innovating with it. That is what set us on the path towards real change. Now, AI and ML are crucial because these technologies are unique in their ability to understand, learn, and adapt. They are transforming industries, automating process, and driving innovation like never before. AI has taken over Internet of Things by making devices smarter and more efficient. It's a transformative force in the Internet of Things, opening up endless possibilities for automation and data-driven decision-making. I have experienced the stark reality of digital divide. In my department, I'm the only girl pursuing a career in AI and ML. And with just 2 girls in my computer science department, I have seen firsthand the reality of digital divide. This highlights the urgent need to bridge this divide. In my community, the digital skills gap is vast. Many young individuals, especially girls like me, lack access to digital education. This is a global issue that is limiting the opportunities of millions. Our pilot Tech Excel, the Afrotech Excel program, brought transformation. Nana Aisha, one of our trainees, developed an AI solution to a community problem of proper waste disposal by using a smart bin and an app that links it with a recycling company where waste can be recycled without bringing harm to the environment. Well, this program, despite its challenges, has yielded incredible results. In essence, Afrotech Excel embodies the theme of harnessing Gen AI for youth employment, not only by preparing young people with AI skills, but also by nurturing their enthusiasm, creativity, and adaptability. I have personally alone trained over 300 girls in AI skills, and about 30 of them are excelling in AI, even participating in competitions. These young talents are proof that with the right support, the digital divide can be bridged. Afrotech Cell is not just a local initiative, it is a global movement for change. We are dedicated to offering guidance on AI career paths, job opportunities, and industry trends, helping young learners make informed choices about their futures using technological skills like AI to maximize humanity potential. In essence, Afrotech Excel is a journey of impact, determination, and transformation. Together, we can empower the Gen AI workforce to be leaders and innovators of tomorrow. I would like to leave you all with the Afrotech Excel mantra that has guided me through this remarkable journey. I'll silence my critics and trust my soul. My dreams are valid and I'm in control. I'll face every storm, but in every single struggle and denial, I'll transform. Thank you all for your time, and let us embark on this transformation journey together and make our dreams and the dreams of countless young minds valid and real. Together, we'll transform lives and bridge the digital divide. Thank you.
Thank you for that powerful, powerful message, Emerald. It's really incredible how one change maker with resources can begin empowering other young leaders within their community like you've done. Thank you for sharing your powerful story with us. I'm now turning to Eslam, a young leader from Syria who is also revolutionizing access to education for refugees using technology. Eslam, over to you.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Islam Abul Hawa. I'm from Syria. I came to Lebanon in 2012 as a refugee. My educational journey was not easy at all. I dropped out for 2 years and I've been facing so many challenges preventing me from attending the Lebanese schools. Since 2012 and up till today, the problem persists and the new challenges continually emerging. Nowadays, we have 30% of the school-aged Syrian refugees have never been to school before. There are more than 88% of the students who completed the grade 9, they do not continue into grade 10, they drop out at this age. And 37% of these refugees, they're not employed, they have never been to school, and they didn't receive any sort of training before. So I guess by now you can tell what future Syria could have given these alarming statistics about the next generation. But the question here is, why is this the case and why do we have this very high dropout from school in Lebanon? According to the UNHCR, there are several barriers to education that are preventing refugees from accessing education in Lebanon. Mainly it's due to the high cost associated with the schools. Also, it's difficult for them to register and get the papers required from Syria. There is also the gap years and missing knowledge. Students are unable to follow up with the curriculum due to the missing knowledge they have since they dropped for a couple of years. And also, it's a different education system. Not to mention also the language barriers, because in Syria the curriculum in Arabic, while in Lebanon it's in English or in French. On top of these challenges, the Lebanese education system has been weakened recently, especially after the pandemic. And students in Lebanon, they study in the second shift, which is a bit of lower quality education. There are also many challenges, such as the unwelcoming environment sometimes in some schools that's discouraging students from attending. And also many kids have to work and in order to support their families financially. On top of that, the government is not putting any effort in order to tackle this issue and ease their integration in the schools. Actually, they're putting more restrictions to push them away so they go back and study in Syria. So those issues are not merely statistics. These are challenges that I have experienced myself. However, in 2016, I was extremely lucky to receive a full scholarship from the MasterCard Foundation to pursue my education at the American University of Beirut. That was a turning point in my life. It took me from being part of the problem into being part of the solution, where I met with like-minded individuals, Mahmoud, Noor, and Zainab. The four of us are refugees. We share a common mission. We came from similar backgrounds. We all are from the same scholarship. We faced issues with our educational journey. So after getting into AUB, we got exposure, we got resources, we found out there are a lot of opportunities, but we felt sorry for those who were left behind and they did not get the chance to get the opportunity we had. So this is where we sat together and we tried to do something in order to support the other students. And this is where we came up with EduPass. EduPass is a mobile application designed with four main features, basically. We have lessons, explanatory videos, and PDFs. We have assessment where we give the student a concrete report with their level and their missing knowledge. We also have virtual assistantship, so students can ask our volunteers and get their answers directly through the application, as well as a dictionary. And all of these services are provided entirely for free. We do not generate any revenue out of it. We opted for a mobile app because most of the team members have background in computer science, so we understand the power of technology. And we also were aiming to minimize the cost, reduce the logistical challenges, and also ensure it's accessible by everyone and we can make a huge impact out of it. So by now we have developed the application, it's ready, and we have the curriculum for grade 9 with 4 subjects, chemistry, biology, math, and physics. We have initiated conversation with different partners in order to ensure our solution meets the needs of the students. Currently, we're working on integrating the curriculum into the app, doing the test with real users in order to ensure we have problem solution fit. As for our next steps, we're planning to develop a comprehensive report with evaluation results, with the requirements and the recommendations in order to expand our operations to cover new subjects and the new classes. This is basically, can you please go to the next slide? Okay, so basically these are the features implemented in our app. We have the assessment, we have the videos, we have the chat. This can give you a quick head up of how the app looks like. And we made sure it's user friendly. And finally, it's worth mentioning that EduPass isn't just an application for us, it's an initiative that aims at tackling all challenges faced by refugees throughout their educational journey. We aim at building a community with peer-to-peer relationship in order to equip those students with resources and the skills needed to excel on a personal and professional level. We believe that each mentor can actually support, let's say, 5 students. Those students will eventually become mentors and will support other 5 and another and another. In this way, we can ensure we have an exponential impact in a growing community. So for us, EduPass isn't just an application, it's a symbol of hope for countless students who are like us facing challenges towards their educational journey. We're committed at creating pathways for them and making education more accessible for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your journey and this incredible innovation with us, Eslam. It's important for all of us to also note that applications like EduPass could be applicable to so many fragile, conflict-affected and vulnerable settings. And so the case to scale up such an application seems very clear. I will now hand over the floor to Brian, a young leader from Kenya who is also using tech, but to address a different kind of challenge plaguing youth, the challenge of gambling.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Ritu from Kenya, and I am the founder of a groundbreaking financial literacy platform that leverages on gaming to transform lives. Today, I stand before you as a representative of the 1.6 billion people worldwide impacted by gambling, especially prevalent in Africa, where 80% of participants are involved in various forms of gambling. This staggering statistic has driven me to create a solution that not only addresses financial literacy but also tackles the root causes driving this behavior, joblessness, and desperate need for quick, substantial income. In Africa, the youth face a crisis of joblessness compounded by a rapidly changing job market versus a stagnant education system. This mismatch leaves them feeling unprepared, underutilized, and underpaid, forcing many into multiple jobs to make ends meet. This lack of financial knowledge exacerbates the issue, leading to low income savings and high dependency levels. Insurance, a potential solution, is largely perceived as scam, contributing to its low uptake across the continent. Why gaming? Why gaming, you ask? Gaming provides the perfect platform to stimulate the thrill of winning and losing, akin to gambling without the dire consequences. Akili Kash's gaming approach addresses financial literacy at 4 levels. First, we assess the player's knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors around money. Second, we delve into budgeting, connecting income levels to priorities and expenses. Third, we explore the psychology of saving, emphasizing motivation, discipline, and opportunity cost. Finally, we introduce investing, exposing players to avenues where money can work for them. But we don't stop there. Akili Cash is not just financial literacy. It's not just about financial literacy. It's about inclusivity. We plan to incorporate concepts on disability, aiming to mainstream processes and bridge economic disparities. Why should there be separate banking products and jobs for persons with disabilities? We believe in a world where everybody has equal opportunities. Our vision extends far beyond the borders of East Africa. We see Akili Cash as a global platform, a hub where people can level up and unlock growth opportunities both professionally and financially. With your investment and involvement, we can make this vision a reality, turning challenges into scalable solutions and gaming into empowerment. In conclusion, Akili Cash is not just about financial literacy. It's a movement, a commitment to creating a brighter future for millions. We invite you to join us to play this game of change and empowerment. Together, let's turn the tide on financial literacy and joblessness, creating a world where everybody has the chance to thrive. Thank you for your time and consideration. Let's play to a brighter future together. Thank you.
Thank you for making that extremely critical point about mainstreaming inclusion features while also imparting very important financial literacy skills on the youth of Kenya, Brian. Last and most certainly not the least, I'll be handing over to Marta, an entrepreneur from Mozambique who is empowering people with disabilities while also saving the environment and adopting circular practices. Marta, over to you. Over to you, Marta.
Hello, everyone. If medical industry was considered a country, it will be on the top 20 most polluted countries in the world. My name is Marta Oetela. I'm from Mozambique, and for 2 years, I've been trying to answer the question, can medical industry go green? I'm from Mozambique, an amazing country where unfortunately 90% of amputees population do not have access to prosthetics, either for the high prices, the long time it takes to obtain them, and even access to healthcare. But at the same time, we are collecting in the most polluted beach here in Mozambique, over 6 every year. And we decided to change that. How we are doing it? We are turning plastic residuals like fish nets and PET bottles collected from the sea into high performance prosthetics. Basically, we collect and process. After that, we scan the limb, we construct the limb, and we use a 3D printer to construct it. We are talking about reducing over 80 steps to only 4. And in terms of numbers, it comes to this. Next slide, please. We are able to construct one prosthetics in 24 hours compared to the 1,008 hours of the conventional process. And we are using 74% of plastic residuals collected from the sea. And one of the most special things about this product is that we are able to put this product in the market for only 3 minimal salary wages compared to over 10 minimal salary wages of the conventional prosthetics available in the market. Next, please. And doing this, we are able to make people like the Hortensia, for example, that has been amputated for over 11 years, be able to afford and have a more productive and life with more possibilities. And it doesn't come only about productivity and possibilities, but it's all about giving self-esteem, and is one of the things that make us push the envelope when it comes to the design. Next slide, please. And we didn't stop there. We realized that we could design and construct more things. So we designed it and constructed the first wheelchair based in plastic collected from the sea. Next slide, please. In terms of numbers, there in 2 years we were allowed to construct over 1,500 prosthetics and wheelchairs, and right now we have operations in South Africa, Angola, and Mozambique. In terms of numbers, we are talking about reducing over 1 million of tons of CO2 just with this pilot. Next slide, please. And we invite everyone to join us in this adventure with us, because more than prosthetics and wheelchairs, we build inclusion and possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you for your incredible work on sort of circular economy innovations, but also enabling people with disabilities. I'm going to quickly transition to some questions to our young panelists today. And I'm going to start with a quick question to you, Marta. What is your vision for biomech? Where do you see biomech going in, say, the next 5 years? Where do you want to take your innovation, empowering people with disabilities to?
Our mission for the next 5 to 10 years is to basically give people more possibilities and productivity, but at the same time make the medical industry kind of like look for other ways of to produce materials, to produce products, so that they can make this transition to be more green, because we totally believe that we can somehow, some way introduce new forms to produce things.
Thanks, Marta. Islam, I'm going to put you on the spot and ask you a quick question about EduPass. So how has the feedback on EduPass been, and what do you envision as the next stage? A quick question, if you want to highlight, why did you start with ninth grade, with having the application for ninth grade students, and where do you see it going from here?
Excellent question, thank you. We started with grade 9 because, as I mentioned in the statistics, students, they drop out rate after grade 9 is actually 88%. So most of the students, they drop out after completing this grade. So we wanted to catch them at this critical moment, give them the supportive community, equip them with all resources they need. We also wanted, like some people, they lack guidance, they don't know whom to ask, whom to reach out to, and what's better for them and what's not. So having this community could actually help them get into the right track. Our vision is basically to reduce this percentage as much as possible to hopefully achieve a 0%.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Islam. I'm going to turn over to you, Sebastian. What urged you to come up with this idea of BeFly? What urged you to think that what this is something that the rural youth community in Colombia see as a solution to their problems? What was your inspiration behind this?
Okay, the first inspiration was like in 2020, where I discovered this insect because the National University make a research and called this insect the insect for peace. And this insect was used in a study about with ex militants of the illegal groups here in Colombia in the process of peace, using this insect to create a community of circular economy, producing feed in a sustainable way. And I say to myself, well, I come from a department that has been affected historically by the violence, and I say this insect can be a great solution here. And here we have a lot of farmers. I am a farmer. I understand the problems of the high prices in the feed, and I said I want to discover more about this. And I started with my team to research more, read more, and now we are trying to do the great things to become this a reality here in Colombia.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Sebastian. I have a quick question for you, Emerald. How do you see the skills, the digital and AI ML skills that you're imparting on the young girls and the youth that you're training? How do you see that positively impacting their life? Do you have any stories to share?
Yes, so I have a story of Nana Aisha. She was one of our trainees, and we were preparing her for a competition, and she was able to use the skills that she learned to develop an application. And the mobile application, what it does is that it's connected to a smart bin, and once the bin is full, it sends an alert to the recycling company, and then they come to pick it up. And I was able to make sure that we had an initiative or a form of guidelines with them when it comes to the waste. So we're able to create 3 initiatives: bottle for food, bottle for book, and bottle for money. So people in the area who normally burn their waste, they could easily trade in their waste for food or for money when they don't have money. Then for schools, like my secondary school that use the application, they're able to get needed resources for teachers and for students in the library. So these then aided education. It also helped with, creating a very clean and safe environment for students to study and strive, and for all of us to be able to breathe in clean air. Then you also went for to also, give people food, in a day. So these are AI skills are skills that impact directly on our economy and our environment. So with this, we can see how beautiful it is for us to actually be on the Gen AI first.
Thank you so much, Emerald, for all your incredible work. And on the topic of skills, Brian, it is absolutely incredible that you're sort of working on financial literacy skills and an application which hones those skills for young people. You mentioned a really interesting aspect about the psychology of financial literacy skills and how that's so essential to the application. Do you want to speak a bit more about that, about the psychology behind budgeting and saving that you've embedded into your application? Over to you.
Yeah, I mean, with gambling, you are tempted to think that you will make more money again, and sometimes, I mean, it doesn't work like that. So you make a kill once in a lifetime. You try to replicate what you've won. So you see, that means there's no aspect of because you're expecting amount of money, but what if you saved from, what you had, and then you use that as a path to something more sustainable, something more predictable, something that, you can scale predictably. So that was the reason as to why, because, winning in gambling, you only win once or you don't win at all, and that is what leads people to depression and other mental health issues. So we thought, why not reverse? Yeah.
Incredible. So by focusing on the psychology of winning in an app or in a simulated version, you're essentially trying to sort of, mimic or replicate that same psychological emotion, but, in a simulated version, and also parallelly imparting financial literacy skills to these young people. We have one last question for you, Marta. How long has this project on the wheelchair been going on, and have you reached a point where you've been able to measure the longevity of the wheelchair and how it performs in different environments? And there are folks from the chat and folks who are listening in who are commending all of you on your incredible work. Over to you, Marta.
A very interesting question. Actually, for the prosthetic, only used for 2 years, and it's very critical when it comes to children because as they grow, the prosthetics needs to be substituted. Basically, we are talking about the time span of 1 year, but the most interesting thing in the whole process is that we are able to use the same material of the prosthetics and reutilize until 7 times until the plastic loses all the properties. So it's a very interesting and technical question. I hope I made it clear.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Martha. And I think that's extremely interesting that then you're again reusing that same material and you're sort of sticking to the principles of circular economy that your venture sort of pledges toward, and you're creating new products and new prosthetics or new wheelchairs from that same, by recycling that same material. On that note, I'd like to thank all of you for sharing your energy with us today and for sharing your incredible stories of change. I'm going to now hand over to Namita, who's the Program Manager for Solutions for Youth Employment at the World Bank, for her comments and for an exciting announcement.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Urvashi. Will you be sharing some slides there? Yeah.
That's right.
So what an energizing session that was. Aslam, something you said sort of summed it up, right? You said we young people are we're not part of the problem. We're actually part of the solution. And I really loved how you said that because it's so true. And it's not just that you are not the problem, you're actually part of the solution. But what was even more inspiring for, I think, a lot of us here was to hear how you took something that appears as a challenge, as an obstacle, as something to complain about, something to be dejected about. You took all of that and you turned it into an opportunity. You turned it into something innovative, that inspires not just perhaps other young people, but also your entire communities. You inspired all of us today. So thank you very much for sharing that. And actually, in Solutions for Youth Employment, which, like I introduced in the beginning of the summit, is a global program. It's hosted by the World Bank. Our effort is to find innovative new ideas to address this issue of youth employment. And we really believe that. We really believe that youth are part of the solution. They are, and actually, as a development organization, if we do not have young people walking hand in hand with us, co-designing new ideas and new solutions, we actually do ourselves disservice because we are missing this huge amount of energy and talent and creativity, which is really needed. So thank you for sort of illustrating what we could miss if we were not to be listening to the voices and all of the talent that you highlighted today. It was with this idea in mind that we thought, what if we could put together all of this creativity and innovation that young people bring, along with the power and the scale of the private sector, to address, let's say, one challenge. And one challenge that we thought that we could focus on is this challenge about water. So we want to launch, and this is just sharing with you. We're not actually launching it yet. We're going to launch it at COP very soon, in a month or so. But we want to launch this new initiative called the Youth Innovation Challenge. Essentially, there are two objectives. This is a joint initiative of the World Bank's Solution for Youth Employment Program, plus also with our colleagues in the Water Global Practice, along with 9 to 10 private companies whose CEOs have indicated to us that they are fully on board and, in fact, very excited to join hands with us to launch this initiative. So there are really two objectives of this innovation challenge. Number one is to address what we think is a crisis, is the water crisis, and to drive innovation to address that crisis. But the second objective of this initiative is to unlock the potential of what we call young aquapreneurs, which is really people like the speakers that we heard from today, to really to really support the mushrooming of such new ideas and young entrepreneurs in order to be able to address the water crisis. Maybe the next slide, Urvashi. So really how we are thinking about it is that there are 4 tracks. There's really, I mean, there are a lot of challenges when developing countries think about water, but perhaps one can think about it as 4 key challenges. Is that there are, and this is all addressed very, very deeply linked with the whole climate crisis and the environment crisis that we find ourselves. The first one is really about too much water. We know that there is flooding in several countries. Levels are rising. There are storms. So there are countries and parts of some countries that are experiencing this too much water sort of issue. But on the other hand, there are also countries that are experiencing the actual opposite, right? Water is drought. There is water scarcity, not enough good quality drinking water. And then the third challenge is really the issue of drinking water, really. And that's so deeply connected with public health, which is compromised water quality. And the fourth, which sort of will enable governments to address this, is about how we handle water utilities. Are the water utilities funded enough? Do they have the right capacity? Do they have the right talent? Do they have the right workforce? Do they have the right assets and infrastructure? So sort of looking at 4 of these challenges, all of which relate to water and in a way relates to the climate crisis. And in order to drive innovation to address some of these challenges, there are about 9 to 10 CEOs that have indicated to us. They're all water companies, some of them startups, some of them bigger companies, that have said, yes, we want to be part of this, because yes, we want to support youth innovation in this crisis. So the next slide, and you'll see the logos of some of our partners there. So how we are thinking about it is like it'll have perhaps 3 phases, a 0 phase and 3 more phases. This is really, it's a phase 0 in terms of sort of conceptualizing the idea, thinking who's going to partner with us. And then we will go to phase 1, which is where we will sort of, it's like a call to action, which is at COP, where we will start inviting applications and trying to identify who are these young rising aquapreneurs who would benefit from additional support and whose ideas we are looking for. And then we'll go into phase 2, which is where we will work with so we'll try and identify over 500 teams, more young people, because maybe there are 2 to 3 youth in each of these 500 teams. And then we'll probably try and identify about 40 and also help them with certain skills that are needed to grow their business, all the way then to finalizing 20 teams who will be the winners. And some of the CEOs who have joined us will be supporting us in providing that mentoring, some of which will and at that final phase, we'll also bring some impact investors who might be interested in supporting these youth-led enterprises. We have an S4YE partner, Youth Business International, which is an international NGO that's going to support us in this phase in terms of helping us identify, but we're also inviting other S4YE partners to help us, or other partners who are not even existing S4YE partners, would like to be one, can help us in terms of outreach to youth, perhaps help us in terms of bringing in business mentors, help us in terms of making the right choice in terms of selection. So there are very many ways in which you can join us in terms of supporting this initiative. And perhaps the next slide, I mean, that's just a slide that shows a few of the young sort of water tech companies that have joined us. And I'm so delighted that 2 of them, not all, but just because this was just a quick wrap-up session, so just 2 of them are actually here with us today. So thank you so much for joining us. And I want to introduce them. Is Naisan Saran. Naisan Saran is the CEO and founder of Can Forecast. Now, Can Forecast is a company that helps municipalities essentially use algorithms and predictive modeling and data and tech, really, in order to be more smart in terms of how they handle their business, perhaps, and also in terms of also protecting public health. So thank you, Naisan, for being with us. And I also want to welcome Flora Clisse. Flora is part of Xylem. We've all probably, anybody who is familiar with the water sector would have heard of Xylem. It's a large water technology company. It has several products, several solutions, and it works across the water cycle. And their CEO has also expressed his full support to be part of this water challenge, a youth innovation challenge. So thank you so much for being with us. I know this was short notice. We were still brainstorming about this idea, but thank you for making this happen. So maybe to you, Flora, first. Just from your perspective, why do you care about aquapreneurs, young aquapreneurs, youth
Absolutely.
in the water sector? Over to you.
I think, yeah, I mean, as you said, like we all agree that we need young leaders and aquapreneurs in the water sector. And I think the thing we always say is that, water isn't sexy and it's not commonly thought of when it comes to climate or sustainability related careers. So there's definitely a need to raise awareness about careers in water. But I think another question that I think about and Xylem thinks about a lot is like when we recruit this young talent, like how do we support them? So there's definitely some examples that I could give. Like, so I work for Xylem, as you said, a global water technology company. And then for the last 3 years, I volunteered as a global program manager for Xylem Ignite, where I like to say I get to create resources that I wish I had had access to as a student. So I only graduated from university 2 years ago. So Xylem Ignite is Xylem's initiative to create events and resources for high school and university age students around the world. So we have things including a water masterclass series, in-person events, global hackathons, a student incubator, and other things. But then like my day job now working at Xylem is with the Xylem Innovation Labs team, which leads early stage innovation at Xylem. So this could look like technology development in collaboration with university research projects in addition to early stage startups. And then we also do scouting and facilitation of commercial partnerships with later stage startups that complement specifically the innovation priorities of Xylem's business units. But again, like how do we better connect these dots from students to adoption programs and users like the Xylem Innovation Labs or other teams kind of across the sector? So I think like despite the need and demand for innovation across the water sector, it's still really difficult for aquapreneurs to gain traction and win funding and find long-term success. So we're really excited to be part of the World Bank's Innovation Challenge. And as you said, like from the top down, like our CEO, Patrick Decker, has been super supportive and engaged of like kind of creating Xylem Ignite and Xylem Innovation Labs. And so to just bring more opportunities to young entrepreneurs from the private sector and then also kind of the other parts of the water space, it's like all hands on deck. We need everyone's attention.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. And that's a good segue to you, Nyson. So from your point of view, what's the role of innovation? Where are the pain points? Where do we want new ideas in terms of dealing with some of the challenges? Water, bad quality water, the link to public health. Like, what are the pain points, and what is the role that of innovation?
That's a fantastic question, and I think Flora may agree with me on this one. There are many pain points right now in the water wastewater sector. So as you said, Namita, it's completely linked to climate change, at least in my opinion, for a big part. So climate change is causing these variations in the type of water quantity we're receiving. So again, more or less the same amount of water globally, but some areas are receiving less and some areas are going to receive more. And so, for instance, if you take somewhere like we're located in North America, you're going to have Central South that's going to receive a little less water. So you have very scarcity issues. You have, for instance, the East that's going to receive more water in Canada, for instance. So you have too much water. So you really have these two situations just because the geography is pretty large, and even other parts of the world, we have the same sort of, depending on where you are, you're going to have either too little or too much, or sometimes the storms are going to be heavier. So exactly what you said, the tracks, too little water, too much water. In terms of innovation, so we actually come from a hackathon. We won a hackathon in 2016. So it really feels full circle to be able to give back now that we're established in 35 communities and hopefully more in the next few years. And so, you know, if the youth, as Flora was saying, water sector is not necessarily the sexiest sector out there in terms of climate change. People sometimes they think more energy, but energy is actually linked to water. So if you waste a lot of water, the pumps are working harder. So just to give an example. So if we can actually help, you know, just bring some of that youth into these water related jobs that are actually part of our core infrastructure that we need all around the world, it would be fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you, Nyson. Thank you, Flora. And thank you for joining hands with us, helping us think this through. Because like you said, Flora, it's really all hands on deck. Like we are all coming at it from a different perspective. We all have different strengths. I mean, private sector and we in the have a different strength, and then if we could all sort of work together, we might be able to make a difference, right? So thank you for joining hands. And this is such early stages. We're still thinking through how to launch this and how to make this grow and how to really make this effective. So also inviting other partners who want to be part of this, please do let us know. So yeah, thank you. So with that, we are close to the hour. Let's wrap up. It has been such a wonderful day, just listening to so many speakers. We started off with this really interesting discussion on Gen AI, which is sort of on everybody's mind, right? I mean, we are thinking how it's going to affect, but we really don't know enough. We don't have data. We don't have analysis. We don't even know what the sectors are that are going to be impacted. So thank you to LinkedIn for sort of, sparking off that plenary session. And then the panel, the public-private panel, sort of really dug deeper in some of those issues, and also pretty incredible to hear India and Egypt and UAE are already on, the governments are already on top of this agenda, thinking about what this means for their countries and their economies, and also thinking about what it means for the young people in their countries. And then we switched to different Spark sessions, and I have to admit that when we were thinking about these sessions, we were worried that we are going to run out of time, because these are all incredibly innovative ideas and programs that are being some of our partners, and every time we connect with them, we learn something new. And I have to also say that we literally just scratched the surface. We have so many more partners that we wanted to feature at this event, but hopefully we'll continue to do that through monthly sessions, etc. So some of these Spark sessions may have felt a bit tight because there were a lot more questions. We were seeing the chat and also people writing to us. There were a lot more questions than we were able to get to. But like I said, if you can walk away with a couple of good ideas that you may want to implement in your programs, because the idea was to also keep the discussion practical so that there's something implementable that you can walk away with. And we in the World Bank are actively looking for some of these new ideas that some of you are pioneering, because we would like to be able to combine sort of the scale that the bank brings in terms of the policy dialogue and the resources, along with some of the innovations that you are leading, to be able to see if we can double the impact or triple the impact. So that was the objective of the Spark sessions, even if they may have perhaps felt a bit crowded and rapid fire in some. So we will be back tomorrow bright and early at the same time, 9 o'clock. And we are going to start tomorrow with a really interesting session with a focus, again, with the Gen AI sort of theme, a session on what it means for the creative sectors. And that's fun. It's we are going to actually see some young artists in a way almost demonstrate how they are using films for music, for fashion. So and they'll kind of do a demonstration. I hope it all goes well, and you're able to see how it's impacting their art business. And then after that, we launch straight into our Spark sessions, and we'll try and address multiple challenges and multiple solutions, really, that some of our partners are pioneering. We'll look at how to think about training and skills outside the formal education system. We saw from the presentations today that what happens outside the formal education system is also as important, frankly, as what's happening inside the education system. And so some of our partners pioneer different solutions there. And then also we'll hear from some of our private sector partners in terms of how to take disadvantaged youth and really take them up the skill ladder. Then thinking in terms of what about young people in the agriculture sector? That's a large part of parts of Africa, right? It's deeply agricultural. So can we take new ideas to young people in the agriculture sector? And then what about the health sector, where we think in S4YE that there's a win-win opportunity, right? So if these are countries that have high levels of, but these are also countries which need capacity building. COVID showed that, right? Illustrated that point. And so can we think of win-win, which means strengthen the health sector while also creating opportunities for young people, for example, in digital health. So we'll talk about some interesting interventions and programs in that win-win space. And then we'll also have a Spark session on how can we use the rapid developments of technology in matching young people to the best job, and how technology can make that quicker, faster, more efficient. And then in the end is sort of the icing on the cake in a way, is the fireside chat. We will end the summit tomorrow with a fireside chat between our Vice President, Mamta Murthy. She's the Vice President of Human Development, and Naria Santa Lucia, who is General Manager at Microsoft. As you know, Microsoft is the current chair of S4YE Steering Committee. So it's a fireside chat between the two of them. It will be moderated by our global director, Ifat Sharif. So please join us back again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Thank you so much for being with us today, and I hope that we will see you back tomorrow.